Alrighty, hello, check 1, 2, check. Yo. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the AfroMattt Show. I'm your host, AfroMattt. Today we have, I guess this is the 4th of July episode. This is coming out on July 2nd, so a little bit ahead of time, but in celebration of 4th of July, we are drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade. And the news is always filled. I feel there's never not something going on right now. As we approach election season, I feel like crazy shit is going to go down. I think shit might bust open on the whole Hunter Biden situation. It's going to be hard for Biden. Donald Trump, he's going to have some stuff come out probably about his whatever paying. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast before, but it came out that he was like paying people or having people pay him to pardon as president. It was like $2 million and you can have a pardon for anything that you've done. $2 million and you're good to go. I think he freed Kodak Black or something. I think that's probably the deal that they had set up. $2 million. You talk to Rudy Giuliani, you slide him $2 million cash, and Trump dog writes you a pardon like the chicken, like the turkey or whatever for Thanksgiving, and you are good to go. Dude, that is they don't call him the art of the deal for nothing. He was making moves. If you have the ability to pardon someone, you might as well use it, right? But this being a 4th of July episode, I just wanted to take a moment to sing a song. I'm not going to sing a song. I'm going to play a song in the spirit of the 4th. As shitty as this country is, it's better than it's better than being in Ethiopia. And for that, I'm proud to be an American. We're going to take a moment of silence. Because I'm proud to be an American. Look at this bald eagle. I love this slideshow. Please stand up. They used to play this song during pep rallies, I think, at our school. Every now and then, during maybe I know school's not in session during 4th of July, but I think they played this song during Labor Day or something, and they would have people show up who are in the army, and they would play all the songs, and then they would end with the choir singing, "I'm proud to be an American." So it's a bunch of 3rd and 4th graders in choir singing this song. It's legendary. There ain't no doubt I love and chant. God bless the USA. All right. This is even this whole intro is even funnier after the news that that's going to happen. Honestly, I like this song better for the USA song. I think it fits a little bit better. The peaches grow in my house, it's not much to talk. They should change the national anthem to this song. We're starting off. I love this song. A little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio up. A lot of sea songs. Rise. See the love in my woman's eyes. Feel the touch of a pressure. That's a very important part of this. I've seen the sun rise. See the love in my woman's eyes. He definitely doesn't mean man. That's something to take away from this song. He doesn't say, "See the love in my partner's eyes." No, he knows what he means. Woman's eyes. Touch of a precious child and no mother's love. It didn't say two mothers, a mother. It's funny little things in life that mean so much.
Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind. This I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with
Cheers,
me.
everyone.
Raise your glasses for
Cheers.
toast to a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right.
A little bit of chicken fried. Poison seeping into our local drinking water. Yeah, I love America for the simple fact that we're such a young country that living in it, there's so many growing pains, and like things in the modern era are like we're working it out, and we're kind of so ahead of other. We're not really ahead, but we're up there as a new country. We're up there with like Britain and stuff as like first world country, quote unquote, first world countries. So it's like, it's interesting, and we're juggling that with being free. The most interesting thing about America is that they have to juggle being incredibly utilitarian like authoritarian, like where they like, there's police and there's like a private military, and then there's like a second military. There's like the military, and then there's like the National Guard, and then there's also cops. So there's like a lot of different, like, it's tough to balance. There's such a balance, and then it's like we were like, the country is born in like very not very secular, I don't think, and it's interesting, and living in this country, I think, is I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. God knows I wouldn't want to live in Canada. Also, there's like two places to live in Canada. In Canada, it's like you either live in Quebec or like Ontario, and that's like it. I don't even know if Ontario is in Canada, but it might as well be. But yeah, let's get right into the news. So June 30th. So as of June 30th, let's play the news music real quick. Let's get the news music going. The news. News with Matt. News at 7. News all around 24/7. All right. So we got... Also, I am incredibly sunburned. I've been playing pickleball recently. Pickleball has been growing so much, it's almost impossible at our local courts. It's almost impossible to find a court open, but it is like the number one growing sport because it is incredibly easy for fat and old people and children. So you don't have to be good. So the courts fill up with the plebeians, which is fine, but it's like they stay there for years and they just, hit the ball over the fence over and over. But it's fun because you can get a lot of people out there and start, hitting it, whatever. But so I've been playing it a lot, and I know my face looks like a lobster. It's so bad. It is so bad. And it honestly genuinely hurts. So that being said, let's get right into the news. As of June 30th, SCOTUS, that's the Supreme Court of the United States, blocks Biden's student loan plan and limits LGBT protections. So this was like all over TikTok. A lot of people are mad about this. And honestly, I saved a lot of learning about it until now. So we're gonna read. So let's see. In a stinging defeat for President Joe Biden, the Supreme Court blocked the administration's student loan forgiveness plan, rejecting the program aimed at delivering up to $20,000 in relief to millions of borrowers struggling with outstanding debt. The decision was 6-3, with Chief writing the conservative supermajority. Roberts said that the government needed direct authorization from Congress. The question here is not whether something should be done, done, but who has the authority to do it? The liberal dissenters said that the majority is basically making political decisions. It will immediately become a potent issue in 2024 presidential race as Joe Biden, who is running but shouldn't, can try to galvanize liberals by claiming the conservative court prevented him from delivering debt relief to voters. You know what? Why don't they just jam more people into the Supreme Court like they always do? It seems like that's the strat. If you're ever behind in the Supreme Court, there used to be 7 and now there's 9. Make it 11. Next person makes it 13. Next person makes it 15. So they're always in the majority. And then, soon enough, the entire Supreme Court will be 115 people, all, judges, and usually almost 50-50, probably 51%, always. And that's the interesting about the law is like they put people in that interpret the law how they want it. That's what I don't like is like it's like a pastor's job is interpreting the Bible. And I'm not saying this is just an example, right? But a judge's job is interpreting the law. My cat is about to climb onto my thing. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm kidding. But if you do it again, I will. Get out of here. Get on out of here. Go on, scram. Okay. Cat does not have any decorum, no professionalism. It's crazy. It is crazy. The shit show we're running here. Yeah, like the idea of interpreting the law seems really weird to me. It's like the law shouldn't have much room for interpretation. It should be, yeah, they're like, yeah, I interpret it, and instead of interpreting the Bible, these judges, they interpret the Constitution. And some people are like, well, the founding fathers didn't know a gun was going to be firing once every 5 seconds or like 50 rounds a minute, right? They didn't know that. So we've got to change the laws. And then the other side's like, well, what they say better stick forever. And I mean, whatever side, but it's like, guys, you got to start just like, I personally, I think you should just read it and sort of be, I think maybe the future of most countries is AI, like countries being ran by AI and laws being decided by AI and like jurisdiction being decided by AI. I personally think that's the future. I mean, you like once you start mixing in personal beliefs, and then you get people like Judge Kavanaugh, and I don't have any problem with Judge Kavanaugh. He's a party boy, and I like it. He's honestly, there's a clip of Judge Kavanaugh. He's like, it's crazy. He's like, beers, I drink it. Parties, I do it. He just goes down the list. He's like, yeah. Keg stands, killed it. Let's see. But I mean, it's like, yeah, you can't start mixing in like personal belief and stuff. It has to be an AI, all-seeing, all-knowing AI. They're aware of every precedent that's ever happened. They've read every law book because they've read it in 0.5 seconds because they're a piece of machine. And you just type in your question, hey, should we have abortions? And then the AI scans all of its shit, and you just do what the AI says. And I know that sounds dystopian. I mean, it's going to happen anyways. It's sort of my stance on, the whole climate change. It's going to happen anyways. So might as well cut to the chase, get it over with, so we can start fine-tuning it now. And dealing with it now. That's what I think. It's like, you won't know how to work it if it doesn't happen. And you want to work out the kinks as soon as possible. You want to be working out the kinks when it happens. New proposed plan. Okay, so yeah, we're back to this. Dude, and a lot of people are mad about this. A ton of people are mad about this. And you know why they're mad? Is because they actually have to pay their money. really, really why. And I just finished, and this might put me on a watch list, but I just finished reading Ted Kaczynski's novel called it's called Industrial Society and Its Future. It was only like 100 pages. I just finished reading it. I'm not going to give a whole review on it because giving a whole review of Ted Kaczynski's manifesto might make my YouTube video not publishable. I mean, it would be crazy. But he does have some interesting ideas, not necessarily about the violence part, but I like how his opinion on nature and how we should treat it with respect and whatnot. He seems kind of like a hippie, and I think he was part of the CIA's like that whole program where they tried to they gave kids like LSD and see how they turn out, and like they got Ted Kaczynski, and then they ended up getting Marilyn Manson. So it's like they ended up with a lot of interesting people through the I think it was MK Ultra program. But was Ted Kaczynski? I'm gonna look it up. Was Ted Kaczynski in MK Ultra? I think they turned him wacko. He died of federal princes. Ted Kaczynski's connection to MK Ultra. Before he was a nationally feared Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, who was found dead in North Carolina prison cell Saturday, age 81, was a promising 16-year-old student at Harvard University, where was a part of an experiment reportedly linked to the CIA's MK Ultra program. During his college years, Kaczynski was part of a 3-year experiment aimed at psychic demonstration by humiliating undergraduates and thereby causing them to experience severe stress. Helming the study was psychologist Henry Murray, who during World War II worked with the Office of Strategic Services and forerunner to the CIA. Murray's work in the OSS include developing and testing screen applicants to see how well they stood up to interrogation, according to the 2000 piece in The Atlantic, who discussed the Harvard experiment with Kaczynski. Detailing the experiments by Kaczynski was subject to are scant, but Moreno described it involving psychological torment and humiliation. It entailed regular verbal abuse. So while in college, his professor was like screaming at him, "You're a disgrace, you're a piece of shit, you're trash, kill yourself, you're garbage, your ideas are bad, all your essays are garbage." And I guess if you do that enough, people hate society. Wow. Hey, good. Everyone, let's give a huge round of applause for the CIA's master plan here. That experiment, genius. Let's all give them a round of applause. Huge. Thank you. So yeah, the CIA is responsible for Ted Kaczynski, and I'm sure they were keeping a pretty close eye on him. Although it took them 14 years to find him while he's bombing these people. But, I mean, unless they wanted him to be bombed. Yeah, anyways, in response to the court's ruling, the president announced that his administration will pursue another pathway. Yeah, so, I mean, okay, there's two sides of this. Okay, let me hop back on the train of thought I was going on earlier. The people that are mad about this are mad because of one thing, and you've got to realize that this right here, what I'm telling you, is going to be a hard truth for some of you to swallow. But this is why you're mad at it. You want free money. Everyone does. And where does that stem from? Greed. Yes. Listen, it does. It does. And you might say you have to do soul searching. You have to look within, and you have to say, why do I not want to pay my student loans? I took out the loan and I agreed to the money. Why do I not want to pay them? It's because you want your money. Yes, you worked for the money. You want to keep your money. You have the exact same mindset as the people you hate, which is Elon Musk, whatever, Jeff Bezos. They just have the resources to avoid it. You don't. That's the only difference. And anyone who says that, the ethics and morals of having $1 billion is immoral. No one should have that amount of money, which is true. No one should have that amount of money unless it's you. That's the problem, is because it comes from jealousy. And I know this because I've felt those same feelings of jealousy. I'm like, yeah, I hate Elon Musk because I want that. I want money. I want to never have to worry. It's completely natural, and people need to accept that and absorb that and process it. It's tough to process sometimes. It's tough to process and say, yes, I am greedy. I am human. It's tough to say. A lot of these, I'm going to be honest, generally liberal type people they can't accept that. Either that or, dude, my sunburn is so bad right now. It is just red. My forehead is completely red, almost as red as my headphones. It's crazy. But it is like the only thing I can look at on my screen. It is so bad. And it hurts. It hurts a lot. Anyways, and it's like, yeah, so you don't want to pay your loans, and I get it. No one wants to pay their loans. Everyone would love to have their loans given. You know, like they bailed out the banks. It's not fair. It is not fair. You're right. It is not fair. But you have to accept that you want the same things that the billionaires want, which is just more money in your pocket, and you don't want to be taxed. Those two things are almost true within every person, I think. I don't know. And maybe that's me projecting, but I'm like, I can't see how someone would want less money or would want to pay money for a loan. That's just where I'm coming from. But so here's the problem. Loan forgiveness. The administration has made it easier for many borrowers to seek federal student loan forgiveness from several existing debt cancellation programs. New rules take effect in July, should broaden eligibility, which is aimed at helping government and nonprofit. I owe $3,000 to the government, and I probably will never pay it because it's $3,000. If they want it, they can come take it. I don't care. I have $3,000 sitting somewhere. And I heard something about college acceptance about, like, people were also upset because there were people, they weren't giving special privileges to minorities anymore in colleges, which is interesting. Let's see. College minorities. College minorities. Let's see if there's any news on this. Oh yeah, this came out on June 30th. California banned race in admissions. Let me see. Oh, this was about affirmative action.
I'm listening.
Well,
This was about so minority college students react to landmark ruling on affirmative action. I'm not too sure what affirmative action is, but I think it gives a certain amount of points. So when they're looking at who they accept into college, they look at, of course, brain power, IQ, stuff like that, test results, probably AP classes, how well you did in class, but those are all probably given a weight, and then they were also giving a weight to minority, so they could have a certain minority status, I guess, so they weren't just filled with Asians, I guess. I mean, it's true. I know you were thinking I was going to say white people, but white people are not the people getting into Harvard. It is almost only Asian and Indian people, because, well, let's be honest, they have the highest percentages of people on the planet. So they're going to be mostly, the chances that you produce a genius and the genius is from India or China is probably, I mean, they're like 50% of the entire globe. So you have a pretty good chance. But that being said, let's listen to what they have to say about affirmative action. Excuse me, audio. Okay, audio is not working. Give me 1 second. All right, and we're back. Okay, so that video, I don't know why the audio was just broken on that video. I refreshed it like 3 times. Okay, so I found another video. So this is it's life or death for black communities. How the affirmative action ruling could impact patients of color in the U.S.
decision to strike down affirmative action on Thursday is predicted to have serious consequences for people.
Great. I just want to understand what...
Meaning life or death for Black.
I just want to understand what affirmative action is. What is affirmative action? And is it legal racism? Not that racism is illegal. Affirmative action. Supreme Court. Let's see what YouTube has to say about this. Whoa. Okay, so apparently there are protests? What is going on here?
This week, the Supreme Court handed down a series of landmark decisions surrounding voting.
Yeah, I like how... So apparently the Supreme Court ends like their whole thing yesterday. Like on June 30th. That's when they're in session. And then they do like all their rules. They do all their decisions. And they make them on that last day. And then they're out. And then they fly to like Turks and Caicos or whatever. Or... the Hamptons, and then they just spend the summer there, which isn't a bad setup, honestly. Spending, you just put it out, you drop the album, they hit the album drop, and then they hit that PJ, that private jet, they dipped, which is a good system. I personally, I'm a fan.
Rights, religion, student loan forgiveness, and affirmative action. On affirmative action, the court's majority ruled, both in a case brought against Harvard University and one against the University of North Carolina, that the consideration of race in admissions violates the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution.
Yeah,
As
that's
longtime critics of
yeah, that sounds about right. It's so funny. It's so funny that people are against that. Guys, we made a law that no longer allows, and get this, Ivy League schools to be racist, and people are upset about that. Seems wild. Oh, but they're not giving black people enough chance. Okay. Why should race be taken into account? I think that you shouldn't even put race on anything until they let you into the school. And I know what this means. This means that the entirety of Harvard will be Asian people. So be it. Americans are dumb. I'll be the first to admit it. And I speak for all white people. I've been given that privilege. That is a privilege that I have. And it took me a while to earn it. It took me about 125 podcasts to earn the privilege to speak for every white person on the planet.
Affirmative action celebrate the victory. Advocates now worry about the ramifications well beyond campus. NBC's Jesse Kirsch.
Granted, and this might sound bad, but 99% of the people protesting weren't going to be let in anyways. I mean...
Has our Sunday focus.
Yeah, Harvard wasn't looking at you, genius.
For years, affirmative action policies allowed colleges and universities to consider race heavily in their admissions decisions. But on Thursday,
heavily?
in ruling,
That's crazy.
the Supreme Court struck the practice down. The decision's upending decades of legal precedent surrounding an issue that has ignited passions on both sides.
I strongly disagree with the court's decision.
That's like saying, hey, I'm for racism. Hey, guys, I am for weighing someone depending on their race. I am for prejudice. Hey, guys, I'm super, super hype on prejudice. I like to prejudge everyone I see. And if they're black, they get extra bonus points in my book. What happened to equality? What happened to just merit? Like judging someone on their merit and their character and what they do and what they say. What happened to all that? Now we're taking race into the account? That seems more racist to me. That seems more racist than almost anything. I know actual racist people that will play basketball with black people if they're good. They'll choose them for their team. I know actual people that are racist. And if they're in a pickup basketball game, their team captain, I know that they will pick a black person because they want to win. They're judging them on their merit, not on their race. It seems, and whatever they say on the court is what they say on the court, right? But hey, he picked him for the team. That's all I'm saying is if you want to draft an all-star team of scientists or whatever, you're not going to judge resumes based on what color the person is. You're going to pick the best person for the job, even if you are racist. That's just me. That's just what I'm saying.
And now rejoice over the fact that at least our kids can be judged based on their achievements and merits alone.
That's what I just said, and that's an Asian person saying that too. So that's not just me because I'm white.
Roberts, writing for the majority, said programs at Harvard and the University of North
and that
Carolina
guy,
at Chapel
it's
Hill
funny because this guy, this Asian kid knows that his entire class is about to become almost 100% Asian.
Said programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill unavoidable.
I wonder if there's more. Are there more colleges doing affirmative action? Because that seems crazy, and that needs to stop. It needs to stop. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, if you're having trouble getting into schools, I guarantee it's not because of your race. I have trouble getting into schools. I'm white, and I'm very white at that. I'm like 90%. I'm like half Irish, and then like 40% French, and then like English. So that's like a lot of white, and I don't get into schools. Granted, I didn't really apply to any, but I went to a community college. So, I mean, really, what's the hold up here?
Employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints. But in her dissent, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson accused the conservative majority of let them eat cake obliviousness, adding that deeming race irrelevant in law does not make it so in life.
I do think we can
that is
anticipate
crazy.
Seeing a significant drop-off in attendance for Black and Latino students and Native American.
Okay, well then maybe they aren't. Okay, this is something that you have to, a lot of these people just have to come to terms with things. Asian people will make up all of the smartest people of all time in all these colleges. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or indigenous. This lady's crazy. This lady is crazy. She's like, yeah, of course, I think it will affect the amount of black people and Indian people and Mexicans because they can't get into school by themselves. It sounds like she is racist. It sounds like she might be a grand wizard. Yeah, dude, look at this tan line on my neck, though. Look at this tan line on my neck. It is red and then white. That is the craziest neck tan line I've ever seen. I got the farmer's tan going too. Let's go.
Drop off in attendance for Black and Latino students and Native American students.
That sounds like a quote from David Duke, the Grand Wizard. Yeah, finally we get a drop off of them blacks and Indians and Native Americans and those goddamn Hispanics. It sounds like she is the racist one. She's like, well, they can't get into schools anyways.
Native Hawaiian students and some groups of Asian American students.
Danielle Holly, president of Mount Holyoke College, believes the Supreme Court's decision will make it harder to achieve diversity. And she says
I saw someone post on also Ashkenazi Jewish people might be, I think they're among the top like 5% smartest race of people on the planet. So you're going to see a lot of Jewish people. You're going to see a lot of Asians and Indians because the future is tech and the future is finance. Mix and mingle those as you will. But
ruling is
I saw a TikTok. It's like it was this guy screaming into the phone. Ah! It was just like my genuine reaction when they ban racism in colleges, and he was just like
not entirely clear.
It's going to be hard for colleges and universities, especially these first few years. There will be lots more litigation. As people would say, there will be lawyers.
What's the practical effect? 9 states have already banned the use of race-based affirmative action in admissions.
Good.
And some research shows that enrollment of students from underrepresented communities declined, even when other factors such as class were weighed more heavily. But some critics of affirmative action say some well-intentioned programs have gone awry.
When you start to evaluate people almost explicitly.
I've noticed this. Every person they've had in favor of getting rid of affirmative action has been Asian. On observation, that is all.
And unilaterally via the use of race. What enters into the equation, I think, is a movement away from what we want in America, which is to view people holistically.
Long Hee Chen, a Stanford University fellow, says other specific admissions considerations, like special treatment for children of college alumni, also need another look.
That's true. That is true. No, that's a good point. That's another good point, which I forgot to mention, is you should not be given extra credit towards your application if your parent went to the college. If they were smart enough, maybe you aren't. That's another thing that needs to go. Needs to get rid of race. Needs to get rid of the parent, the grandfather rule or whatever. Both those needs to go.
Go to? I think we need an examination of all these policies, right? Policies that create advantages.
As the nationwide debate unfolds, it's clear America is still sharply divided when it comes to issues of race.
Diversity begins with me.
An April NBC News poll found 53% of Americans agreed affirmative action programs are still needed to counteract the effects of discrimination against minorities and are a good idea as long as there are no rigid quotas. A separate Pew Research Center survey conducted around the same time found that only 33% approve of colleges and universities using race and ethnicity in their admissions decisions. The question now for admissions officers at schools across the country, what's next?
And Jesse joins.
I mean, that is absolutely wild. I didn't know affirmative action was like that big of a thing, but that is crazy. All right, speaking about race relations, France is having themselves, in celebration of 4th of July, they're having a full-on revolution. It would be crazy if they overthrew the government on July 4th. They just rammed... So France, if you don't know, France just had their own George Floyd situation in Paris.
There's been more unrest across France just hours after...
So they're having like a BLM... You know when BLM happened, Minnesota burned to the ground. France is burning Paris currently to the ground. They just drove a car through the mayor's house. That's the place that they're in right now. That's the mindset.
Hundreds gathered in Paris to farewell the French-Algerian teenager whose death at the
so instead of a George Floyd, it was a teenager, which I think is a better martyr.
hands of police has sparked days of unrest. Tens of thousands of officers, including specialist police, have been deployed to cities across France. The situation appears calmer after 4 days of violent protests. Sporadic clashes have taken place, including in Marseille, where police fired tear gas on protesters as street battles unfolded. The French president has been forced to cancel a state trip to Germany to deal with a crisis. Europe correspondent Isabella Higgins was there as police prepared for another night of demonstrations.
Jesus.
Now, French police are facing another night of disorder and unrest. Here at the Arc de Triomphe, there are police officers
I've been there. I've been to the Arc de Triomphe, and that's the Champs-Élysées.
lining the street of the Champs-Élysées.
Élysées,
we've seen officers here stop and search young people. It's a tense mood down here
Stop and frisk? Dude, they're hitting the stop and frisk. That's crazy. That's even too crazy for New York. That's wild.
It said that up to 45...
Okay, they have video of them searching an African American... Well, okay. See, that's why African American doesn't work. Because I'm pointing to a French person, I'm calling him an African American. The guy he might not even speak American.
1,000 police officers have been deployed across the country. Now, that includes specialist tactical response officers. Many
And here they are searching another one.
of them have been sent to the southern port city of Marseille. Now, it's there that some of the most violent scenes have erupted over the last 5 days. Now, how did we get here and how did all of this start? Well, a 17-year-old boy was shot dead by police in a Paris suburb when he failed to stop for a traffic check. From that, there was an uproar of anger and upset about racial prejudice.
So yeah, they're having their own sort of Black Lives Matter. Let's see, Paris drives car through mayor's house. Let's see, attackers rioters attack Paris mayor's home with burning car in crazy assassination attempt. This is a shocking aftermath of a mayor's home in Paris after rioters attempted to set it alight. Can I see the footage though? I like how the recommended video is Hot Ones with Jennifer Lawrence.
Police and protesters clashed in cities across France for the 5th straight night. The violence follows the police shooting death of a...
Happened in the greater Paris region where a car was rammed into the home of a suburb mayor before being set alight. His wife and 2 young children who were asleep inside at the time were...
This is the type of French action that I want, because the French know who to target. I'm going to be honest. They know who to target. They're not burning down their own cities. They're trying to burn down the mayor's house. So they're not lighting a gas station on fire. Or they're not going to loot and light on fire a Walgreens and then stand on the roof and like, ooh, yes, we're doing... That's not what they're doing. They're going to drive a car through the mayor's house and light it on fire. They mean business. They know what they want, and they mean business. They have experience with these types of revolutions. Cut off their head. It's the situation. You know, they've got a situation. I'm going to be honest. France has a bit of a situation. America has a bit. The world has a bit of a situation, and I think that it's. You know, I'm reading. Right now. The book I'm reading is The Hobbit, and The Hobbit. You know, it starts off giving the backstory of like everything's been. They've had an age of peace before the third age, and it's been very peaceful. Not a lot of fighting. Maybe a couple, but you know. When we pick up with Frodo and he gets the rings, there are strange happenings outside of the Shire. They've had to be more strict on their borders. The Shire, they're seeing weird, strange big men. They call them the big men, which is just like normal humans, right? Humans coming and going. Strange wolves lurking on the street. They hear of legends of wars happening across the land. Things aren't very peaceful anymore, and it is a change from the normal and the peaceful, the Shire escaping the Shire, and then the world going to chaos in almost a couple of seconds. Like, you know, the formation of the Fellowship, and then all hell breaks loose, and then it's the War of the Rings. That's like, and I know George R. R. Tolkien wasn't a fan of allegories, but there's a lot of applications for that story, and I like that. And I feel like we were at a pretty peaceful few years, you know. Of course, America has always been at war, but I mean, at least they were, you know, they were chill. They were pretty chill. At least it's never been like violent on our own soil. At least we've only been bombing schools overseas of Arab children and blowing up weddings. At least that's only been it, right? But it's interesting. There are strange happenings outside of the border of the Shire. That's all I'm saying.
Injured as they fled the building, and as they did, it's being alleged today that rioters fired rockets at them. Investigators are treating the incident as attempted murder, and France's Prime Minister, who visited the scene earlier today, has urged that those responsible be punished with the utmost severity. Meanwhile, there were sporadic clashes in central Paris last night.
They did a really shitty job, too. They did a really shitty job. They didn't even make it through his garden. If you're going to try to ram a car, you have to make it further than that, buddy.
Buildings were damaged and 5 officers injured in the disorder there. But
I mean, it's chaos in France. Imagine people who are in France right now, like just on vacation, just chilling. It's like they just got caught in the middle of like World War III. They got caught in the middle of the fight scene in the third Batman. All right, let's move on to the new some more news. Did NASA issue warning about pending internet apocalypse? This is Snopes. Everyone knows how good Snopes is. False. Okay, well, never mind. I guess Snopes says it's false. I thought never mind. Let's move on. Oh, this is interesting. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg offered the Roman Colosseum as cage fight venue. So recently, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have been talking about fighting openly in like pay-per-view for UFC in a cage match. 1v1. Mark Zuckerberg has been approached by the Italian government about the fight. So this is like the fact that we're even talking about a potential fight between Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg is crazy. I'm thinking Netflix documentaries, a 3-part documentary with a series, maybe docudrama on the side. That's what I'm thinking. We got to get moving. We got to start casting actors. William Dafoe as Elon Musk, and maybe get that kid back as Mark Zuckerberg. Start getting production going. It's going to be a hit. And it's going to be like Rocky 5. Whoever wins, it'll be interesting. It'll be crazy. The owner of Twitter is fighting the owner of Facebook and Instagram. If we don't live in a simulation, I don't know what is happening. It seems like the only possibility is that things are scripted. Things seem scripted. It's wild. TMZ reported that Zuckerberg's representatives passed the message to the UFC president Dana White, who is arranging the bout, and his team have contacted the politician. Sources told the outlet both Mark and Tesla boss Elon would love to fight in the Coliseum, which is one of 7 wonders of the world. Some chance fights appear in the Coliseum. Elon, the two men said that they are all in about the possibility of a fight and have a daily negotiation with Dana for more than a week. The biggest issue with the potential fight is the difference in height between the two businessmen, with 39-year-old Mark standing at 5'7" and weighing 145, and Elon, 52, towering over him at 6'2" and weighing 230. Holy shit, that's a huge difference. The original plan had been that the bout was staged in Las Vegas, meaning that the Nevada Athletic Commission would have to sign off on it, and the rules would be relaxed due to the exhibition fight. Rome's Coliseum hasn't hosted large events inside for hundreds of years, and only a few hundred people would be able to accommodate the temporary seating. That's crazy. They would reopen the Coliseum for a billionaire boxing match. What is going on? The world we live in is wild. It is wild. Let's see. Everyone in the U.S. Okay, here's a new. It's crazy. It's crazy that we're even talking about a fight between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. A cage match between 2 billionaires. Not only are we talking about it, but it sounds like it's going to happen, and even crazier than that, it's going to happen in a Coliseum, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Okay, all right. So you want me to believe that we don't live in some sort of simulation? You want me to believe that this is just happening? What world are we living in? Are we in a simulation? It's crazy. It's wild. Here's a new happy story. Everyone in the U.S. is getting depressed, CDC says. Everyone knows how reliable the CDC is. Depression among young adults is on the rise in the U.S., according to a study released Thursday by the Center of Disease and Control Prevention, which recorded that nearly 1 in 5 American adults are diagnosed with depression. The study, which was conducted across all 50 states and Washington, D.C., was focused on adults 18 and up, revealed that some states ranked higher in the number of depressed adults than others. Let me guess, California? What is this?
Anxiety and depression in their patients earlier.
For the first time ever, a group of health experts say all adults under the age of 65 should be regularly screened for anxiety and depression, even if they don't have symptoms. NBC News medical fellow Dr.
Okay, now that's crazy. Okay. I'm starting to change my view on this and say that maybe we're not depressed, but maybe they just want to diagnose literally everyone with depression so they can sell and sling some of that crazy shit. You want Xanax? Hey, do you have trouble with your energy? Xanax, Adderall, take it, start slinging it. Pfizer wants the fucking shit slinging. right? And of course they're going to promote everyone should get tested every once a week for depression because we want you to have the best care possible and we want to physically control your mental state. Actually, I'm going to actually read a portion, an excerpt, if you will, from Ted Kaczynski's manifesto because it was pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me see the table of context. Give me a sec. All right. Here it is. It's page 65. The chapter is called Control of Human Behavior. Imagine a society that subjects people to conditions that make them terribly unhappy, aka depressed. Imagine a society, let's say a random society that makes everyone depressed by stimulating them constantly and destroying their dopamine receptors and raping them with advertisement all the time. Let's imagine that for a second. And then gives them drugs to take away their unhappiness. Science fiction? Well, it is already happening to some extent in our own society. It is well known that the rate of clinical depression has been greatly increasing in recent decades. We believe that this is due to the disruption of the power process. And this is a theory that Ted Kaczynski comes up with about the power process. It's a little complicated. Pretty much he believes that every human has a desire for power, but their power can be fulfilled from just achieving a goal that is not necessary to our survival. So that can be sex, that can be, actually providing for your community, doing whatever. And he's like, back in the old days, the power process was, building your house, going hunting, bringing home the food. That was success. You have gained power, right? Now all of our decisions are made for us, whether we like it or not. You don't really have a choice and you don't really have control. You're sort of like a puppet, and your life is on track or on tracks. He says your life is on tracks and you don't have control of the power process. Pretty much from birth, you're put on a track and you're just set to go. So it's interesting. It's interesting. As explained in paragraphs 59 through 78, whatever. But even if we are wrong, an increasing rate of depression is certainly the result of some conditions that exist in today's society. So he's saying even if the disruption process is wrong, there's something out there that's making everyone depressed in today's society. Instead of removing the conditions that make people depressed, modern society gives them antidepressant drugs. In effect, antidepressants are a means of modifying an individual's internal state in such a way as to enable him to tolerate social conditions which he would otherwise find intolerable. Yes, we know that as depression is often pure genetic, whatever. And I mean, the interesting part of this is that he's like, and then he goes on to say in a couple other pages, thus control over the human behavior will be introduced not by a calculated decision of the authorities, but through a process of social evolution. The process will be impossible to resist because each advance considered by itself will appear to be beneficial, or at least the evil involved in making the advance will appear to be beneficial, or at least the evil involved in making the advance will seem to be less than that which would be from not making it. So he's saying and I mean, the book is he could have used an editor, I'm going to be honest. But he makes some interesting points if we jumped ahead 50 years, we wouldn't like where we're at. But if we take small micro steps of improvement, quote unquote, improvement of our lives, then when we'll get there, but it won't feel like it. It's kind of like if you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you won't notice you're aging. But if you look at yourself now and look at yourself in a year from now, that's the only 2 times you see your face. You will obviously look older. That's like the thing is the evolution in technology and surveillance is so micro, a little bit is chipped off and eventually you'll have nothing. And it's like then your whole life is being chosen for you. They're pumping you full of drugs because your life sucks so bad. But it's a normal thing because it's been slowly, it's for your benefit. It's for your benefit you don't understand.
Dr. Akshay Sayal joins us with a closer look at this guidance. Dr. Sayal, thanks for being with us this morning. Talk about this new guidance and what does screening for anxiety and depression look like?
Really welcome change, I think, guys. What you're seeing is basically some background here. The group who recommended this is the same group who tells you to get mammograms and colonoscopies. So it's really this overarching guidance from physicians. And what makes it so exciting is that anxiety is a tough thing to talk about. People are reluctant to share, and it may be hard to pick up on those subtle signals that someone may have anxiety. So that's why we're going to be screening those who even don't have symptoms. And what does that look like? So actually like little surveys we can give you on an iPad or a piece of paper you kind of take to the side and you fill out. And
yeah, and then you fill out the piece of paper, and anything, the funny thing is, anything you write down on the piece of paper, we're going to prescribe you a drug. That's the brilliant thing about it, is that it doesn't matter what you say because we know that you have anxiety. You taking the quiz is you having anxiety. So we're going to help you deal with that because we want to help you. Help us help you, right? Help us help you by taking our quiz and letting us give you drugs to fix the state of mind that you're in, by the horrible world that you live in. The hell of a world. And I think even Ted Kaczynski says that we're entering a brave new world. And because in that book, they take this thing called like mallow or manna or something that just cures them of any sort of bad feelings. All right, let's go to the last news segment. Sunderland student in court over picture of Bart Simpson being sexually abused by Margie, which I want this picture because it sounds funny as fuck.
Judges use guidelines from the Court of Appeals and Sentencing Council when sentencing a guilty party. Sentencing is declaring the punishment of a guilty offender.
A Sunderland student ended up in court after looking at a computer-created image of child cartoon Bart Simpson being sexually abused by his TV animated mom. It was a 49 cartoon-style image found by police of Grand Move's mobile phone after they raided his home. His arrest was no moment of comedy for university degree holder Moon, 23, who faced up to 3 years behind bars and is registered as a sex offender. He avoided both after the court heard no real child was involved. He had not distributed the images. His offense was committed 3 years ago. He had not reoffended. Dude, that is so crazy. They raided his house because of a picture of Bart Simpson and his mom. I feel like I've seen that as a profile picture on TikTok. That is crazy. That's so wild. That is crazy. Where was this? Was this in... This can't be in the United States, right? Here are some quotes. I love quotes. The circumstances are that the police have executed a search warrant for the defendant's home address. They seized electronic devices over 2 devices where 59 images that were accessible. An example of one image was a computer generated of a male child, effectively a cartoon. It's one cartoon that may be known to the court. It's Bart Simpson. Imagine the judge having to hear about this. Imagine the judge waking up, putting on his robe, slamming the gavel. Boom, boom, boom. Order in the court. Will the defendant please rise? Yes. Opening statements. Well, Your Honor, my client was, he has a couple funny photos. He has a couple funny photos of, you might know her as Marge Simpson, the cartoon character. Homer. Bart sodomizing Bart, the guy who comically says, "Eat my shorts." And in this, you see that she's eating more than his shorts. She's eating his ass. Okay, that is Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1 is "Eat my shorts." Let's call it "Eat my shorts." Eat my ass. Okay, let's call this "Eat my ass." And here's one of Homer putting his penis through a donut. And here's one with Marge taking her dress off. See, these aren't tasteful, Judge. Yes, we realize these aren't tasteful, but are they not funny? Are these not funny photos? It's Marge Simpson having intercourse with Steve. What's his name? Steve from Family Guy. Stewie from Family Guy, and his or football shaped head is staring at Marge's tits. Is this not funny? Judge, please tell me, is this not funny? Look, his eyes are going Judge, I rest my case. Like, the judge has to take this case seriously. The defendant comes before the court with no convictions or cautions, and maximum sentence is 3 years. South Trinside Magistrates Courts. Moon pleaded guilty of possession of... Wow. That's crazy. Angus Westgarth. Okay, so this has to be the United Kingdom, right? Angus Westgarth. Damn. Oh yeah, it's pounds. He had to pay 114 pounds victim surcharge. I mean, there's no way as a judge you take that seriously. That's crazy. All right, let's finish up with some TikTok time. But again, sorry this episode was a little bit late, but I mean, at least it's up. Oh, here's DJ Khaled. You know I love my DJ Khaled videos. Here's a new one of him cooking like gumbo or something.
I call this everything in the ocean. 7 seas. Everything that's in the ocean is in this pot. It's called clap or your bumba clap. Lobster.
Bumba la clap clap.
Shrimp.
Shrimp.
Clam.
Clam.
Fish. Hold on.
Hold on. Clam.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I like that DJ Khaled does his own cooking too. I call it boom clack clack.
Lobster. Shrimp.
What does he call it?
Clam.
Clam.
7 seas. Everything that's in the ocean is in this pot. It's called clap or your bumba clap.
It's called clap. Love it. I'm gonna order some of that next time I'm at DJ Khaled's house.
Whoa.
On a different sort of strange, here's a man cooking an ancient crustacean. This video is crazy. This guy, so he's an Asian man, and he's sitting over a wok, and he just pulled out what seems to be an ancient crustacean. It is one of those things that you see, like, every now and then they'll show you. It's like the fossil. Like, I feel like every fossil has one of these in the background. These things. It's like, it looks like it's not quite a crab. It's not quite a lobster. It's kind of like a roly-poly if it was like the size of a human's head. And here he is cooking it. And this is crazy. And this makes me realize, yeah, so there's no confusion on why COVID started in China. If this is like they're eating ancient dragons. They're eating like this is a dinosaur. They're eating dinosaurs. And here he is cutting it open. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. And now he's filling it up with oil. He's using it as a bowl. This ancient crustacean. I love the music in the background too. Alright. Let's end this on RFK talking about a little story.
He realized early on that
so this is RFK, my next president. This is RFK Jr. talking about how he's going to come for the CIA if he becomes president, which just put a huge target on his back.
my uncle, John Kennedy, he realized early on that the purpose of the CIA and the intelligence apparatus was to create a constant pipeline of new wars. Eisenhower, who was the outgoing president, gave what is probably the most important speech in American history, which was, where he warned against the military-industrial complex. I was at my uncle's inauguration. I was in Washington that day, a 6-year-old boy. And 2 months later, the military and intelligence came to him and said, we got to invade Cuba. And he
Dude, imagine being JFK and the intelligence agency comes to you and says, we've got to invade Cuba. And then listen, this is what JFK said. This is crazy.
Like, I'm not going to Cuba.
I'm not going to Cuba.
The military, and they said, well, we got all these Cubans trained, and they're going to go attack Castro. And he said, well, the U.S. government can't be doing that. I don't like what Castro's doing down there, but it's not the United States' job to dictate what kind of governments other countries.
Yeah, that's so based. That is so based. JFK might be the most based president. Also, he was a dog. He had that dog in him. He was banging girls. He had a secret passage to bang girls. Crazy.
Have. And they said, well, as soon as they land, there's going to be a big revolution. Everybody's going to rise up in there.
So, wait, I also wanted to show you, I'll end this on a video. RFK Jr. might be the most ripped president. RFK Jr. ripped. Dude, he is shredded. There's a video of him. Yeah, here he is.
Shirtless RFK Jr. Chris Chulo wanted to see this again, posting another video of his intense workout while jabbing at President Biden about getting in shape to
He's doing like 80 push-ups.
face off on the debate stage. He's got 20% of the vote. Why not? He's 69, by the way. This is concerns over President Biden's age and stamina loom over re-election with a new
Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Dude, what if the presidential debate is just a push-up contest? We live in idiocracy. It's just a push-up contest. It's just an arm wrestle for who becomes president. Oh, God. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I wanted to leave out how we came in. Happy 4th of July. If you enjoyed listening, please share with a friend. If you didn't, who cares? Share with a friend anyways. Maybe you both will get a hoot out of how dumb I am. Goodbye. Here we go.
Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. In my house, it's not much to talk about.
Here we go. Here we go.
But it's filled when love is grown and
turn it up. If you're in the car, turn it up. Windows down.
And a little bit
of chicken fried.
Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio up. I like to see the sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes. Feel the touch of a precious child. And know a mother's love.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Take care and happy 4th. Welcome to the USA.